Hello my dear friends, this is Phil again. Welcome back to my channel. And on the current PTS, Bethesda is doing a huge overhaul of almost everything. Perks, mutations, legendary effects. I will try to cover all of them in my next few episodes, but in this particular one, I'm actually more focused on how the change actually affects a blooded commando build. And as I showed you in my previous episode, I just compared the blooded weapon and the furious weapon used by a blooded commando and found out the furious is the new meta. But will it stay the same in the PTS after all the changes, or is the changing on the PTS actually nerfing the blooded commando build or enhance it? To do the comparison, I will use the material I collected from my last episode, and I will do exactly the same testing using the same weapon as I used on the live server and test them on the poor behemoth again. I'm so sorry to say that, big guy. And to find out in terms of round to kill, there's one thing I won't be able to show you in the test, at least, is the AP cost reduction from the automatic mode on all the rifles has been removed. I can't actually show you the impacts of those changes in this simple testing. What we know is you won't be able to easily stay in VATS for a long time, especially when you are not a blooded build. Hopefully with the 4th star, the scanner for example, we can actually compensate somehow of AP costs. Now for the rest of the changes, like the reduction of the damage when you modify a rifle with automatic receivers, and the nerf on the stealth and critical multiplier when you use automatic weapon, and let's find out together. So again, as I said, I'm going to test the subject using a blooded fixer, a furious fixer, a blooded railway rifle, and a furious railway rifle, exactly as I did in my last episode on the live servers. Then I can cross compare them. A quick look first, because the blooded legendary effect has been enhanced, so now you can go all the way to 130 instead of only 100%. So that is the damage per shot on the PTS using the blooded fixer. I'm not actually fully use the 130% enhancement because I don't really feel comfortable to stay or to fight any mobs when my health is only 5%. And the same thing with the blooded railway rifle on the PTS, my damage per shot can reach 368. It can even go higher. Well, on the live server, I can only reach 240. And the cost is higher AP cost. Now it's 14 per shot. On the live server, it's 13. So let's switch quickly back to the fixer. As I mentioned, the fixer can do 204 damage per shot on the PTS, and with the 15 AP cost per shot. Well, on live server, I can only do 90 damage per shot, but with only 5 AP cost per shot, which means I can do really harder damage, harder hits per shot using automatic rifle with blooded legendary effect, but the AP cost on the fixer at least is 3 times. So if I want to keep on staying VATS, I will have to use a 4-star legendary effect to compensate the AP cost. But let's find out how good this weapon is when we're trying to fight the behemoth. This is almost identical perk loadouts as I did on my live server. However, under the perception, because Bethesda completely overhauled the commando perks, so you will see they give them even different name. The Downranger give us extra 20% range damage to far enemies, the number cruncher, I can't even remember. I think it's Commando Expert on live server. I can get 2% increased damage per AP cost. And the fast fighter, I think, is Commando on live server. My movement speed bonus is applied to my reload speed, so I can reload my gun much faster. Someone took Bethesda. Oh, lovely to meet you, but poor Behemoth. Everyone's trying to kill Behemoth. Alright, let's find another one, because hopefully there are still alive Behemoth on the same server that we can test this weapon. And now here we got another level 100 glowing Behemoth. Let's see how many rounds we can take him out. We're rushing that. Okay, using the Blooded Fixer, I took out a level 100 glowing Behemoth with only 15 bullets. And when we did the test on the live server, it actually cost us about 18 to 19 rounds to take out the same level of Behemoth, which means the PTS change actually, instead of nerfing the Fixer, it's actually enhanced the Fixer. It makes it even more powerful. That's a good news to know. And let's try out the Blooded Railway Rifle. Hopefully I can find another Behemoth to shoot at. Okay, we got another glowing Behemoth here. Let's see how well this Blooded Railway performs in the PTS. Will it perform better than the live server or not? We'll find out. "14 rounds. Okay, that's exactly the same as I found out in the live server. That means at least the railway rifle, well, the Blooded Railway Rifle is not nerfed on the PTS. That's something good to know. I mean, I was worried that this new changes on the PTS can actually nerf the Commando build. So far we found out the Blooded Fixer and Blooded Railway Rifle can either perform the same level or even better than the live server. Then the following, we're gonna figure out whether the changes on the PTS will affect the Furious weapons, the new meta that we found out on the live server. Alright, let's test the Furious Fixer to see how it performs on the PTS after all the changes. Come on, face me. Let's start. Okay, 19 rounds, or 18. I might actually shoot additionals after it's dead, but it's not as good as what we found in the live server. We only spent 16 to take the Behemoth down. Don't forget, at the moment on the live server, the AP cost is 3 times more than the live server. So that means although you use the same amount of bullets to take down the same mob, but you actually spend 3 times more AP. And if you're fighting tougher enemies like the world bosses, you have to actually keep yourself in the vest to keep your DPS. But once your AP run out, you're gonna have to wait for a couple of seconds to let it refill. That will significantly reduce your DPS. So in terms of Fixer, what we found out is the Blooded Fixer actually performing better on the PTS after all the changes they've been doing. The Furious one actually is weaker than the live server, but because the AP cost for automatic rifle have been significantly increased, the DPS when you're fighting bosses, the overall DPS when you're fighting tough enemies will be much lower on the PTS. So unfortunately that is enough. Okay, found another Behemoth. Now we test how the Furious Railway Rifle performs on the PTS. Let's start. Okay, it took me about 19 rounds, if it's not 20, to take the behemoth down. And on the live server, it only took us 17 or 16 rounds. So in terms of railway rifle, it's not as good as a live server. The difference is not significant at all between the PTS and the live server. But the AP cost is also increased 1 point. Take that into consideration. I'm afraid the railway rifle has been nerfed a tiny bit as well on the PTS. And that is not very good news for Commandos, I'm afraid. When this patch rolls out in the next season, Commando will get a hit. Depends on what weapon you're using. It's gonna be a big hit if you're using Fixer, or a tiny bit of hit if you're using the railway rifle. I'm not sure about the other rifles because there are too many. I can't really test them one by one. That's everything for this episode. I hope you found it informative, and hopefully Bethesda will do some tweaks on the PTS to give the Commando a bit of edge when they actually finally roll out to the live. If they do, I'll definitely let you guys know. Today, that's everything I want to share with you. If you like it, please give me a thumb up, and don't forget you can always support me by joining my channel. But until next time, Phil against out.